In this radio is an automatic volume control or automatic level control. And to understand how this works, let's take a look at the detector of this radio. The 220 picofarad capacitor is draining off the now unwanted 455 carrier, and the detector is part of the cathode, and here's the rest of the detector. The plate goes through the coil and through R4 through the volume control to ground, completing the circuit. This diode only conducts when the plate at pin 5 is positive. And of course, if that's positive, that means the other end of the coil is negative. Now this is cutting the 455 carrier in half, and that extracts the audio, and that 220 picofarad capacitor is draining off the 455, leaving just the audio. Here's a look at the detector plus the automatic volume or level control. Now we know that that diode that detects the audio conducts when the coil is positive on the top and negative on the bottom. So that means that, of course, we have negative here and here, and also here at the grid. Now this negative voltage is stored in this 0.08 microfarad capacitor, and at this point it is strictly negative voltage. And of course, if we follow the lead to the left, it also gets applied to a grid on the first tube also. Now how this automatic volume control works is when we have a strong station, it's more negative, and that gets applied to the two grids of the first two tubes. And when you make the grid more negative on a vacuum tube, it reduces its gain. So a strong station produces a higher amount of negative that gets applied to the first two tubes, which reduces the gain. Also, if there's a weak station, it's not so negative, so the gain is higher on the first two tubes. Now I'm going to hook up a voltmeter right here across the 0.08 microfarad capacitor and tune in some stations, and you will see that when it's not on a station, there's hardly any negative voltage, and when we come across stations, there'll be negative voltage developed, and of course when we get to a strong station, there'll be a lot of negative voltage developed.
On here that addresses whether you can hotspot that data or not.
Right, that's the thing I couldn't get clearly on. I wasn't sure whether they talk about the same thing or they separate that.
As we saw in the video, a strong station does develop a higher negative voltage. Let's take a look at this circuit at a couple of more points. Here we have audio on this side of R3, and on the other side of R3 we already know that we have our negative AVC or ALC voltage. I'm going to put a scope at these 2 points and tune through some stations again, and you'll see the audio at this point where the yellow arrow is, and where the green arrow is you will see the negative voltage increase as the station signal increases.
Like, who's liable for bags on international code share for lost bags, and this transportation department document will pop up.
I hope this video helped you understand how the automatic volume control works in this radio. Thanks for watching.
International code share for lost bags, and this transportation department document